What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. It's NBA Talk with Jay Money. It's Wednesday. This is a tip-off show, guys, for the people that checked out the early show. Obviously, always trying to do two shows, trying to get some cash with my guys, Sharks and Sports. What's up with you, my brother? Everything cool with you?
Absolutely. As you said, second show of the day, an opportunity to dominate always. A lot going on in the NBA right now. We mentioned this earlier this week. Trade deadline, players coming in and out, motivation scattered, who's tanking, who's not, who's reloading, who's reintegrating, and what's really going on. 6 games today, a lot to discuss. A tough card. We will have one official. Jay Money, lead the way. Let's get into it.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough card. I'm glad you said that, guys. Around the trade deadline, this is always some of the games where you may want to take a step back, guys. So let's get to some cash, man. As always, we got all type of info coming out. People in the chat with info. I appreciate you guys because I didn't have a chance to catch up on all of it. But let's get straight into it here, Shark. First game of the day, we got the Cavs here versus the Spurs. We're going to the streets of Cleveland. You dig what I'm saying? My guy does have the hat on, Shark. Let the people know what you like, my brother.
Absolutely. February 9th, 2022, a suddenly not so casual one at that. Home locker room, first quarter, Cleveland Cavaliers -2. When I talk about the game sides getting razor sharp and having counter narratives against, we start to go into what I call schedule scaling, which basically means looking at the previous game and saying, why did something happen and how are they going to react? You go right back to what happened the last game for Cleveland. Home game 1 off a road trip. 27-12 Indiana in the first quarter. Of course, Cleveland did come back, backdoor the hell out of the game, and cover the game and spread 98-85. But you do find the Spurs coming in here on road game 1 of the rodeo trip. Last year, the rodeo trip was disrupted actually by COVID. There was 4 postponements. One of them was supposed to be in Cleveland. San Antonio did win in Cleveland last year, but it was a write-in game. And of course, that was not the Cleveland Cavaliers as we know now. Cavaliers, a juggernaut first quarter off of tanks. They are now 0-3 first quarter, home game 1 coming off a trip. The only bounce back spot they've had in the last month was home game 2 against the Knicks. They did cover the first quarter and proceeded to melt the game. First quarter, -2, 1 unit, top look of the day.
I like it, bro. I couldn't talk you off. Danny Duckett's in the chat, man. I appreciate you, my guy, for the $20 dono. S.Warriors will. He's saying if he clicked the dollar sign on his phone in the chat, it's to send a sticker. Yes, that's how you send a tip, my guy. So I appreciate everybody in the chat. For me in this one, man, this is a revenge fight for the Spurs. Like I say, and I do lean the Spurs here full game. It's not something that I've taken here, but I do lean the Spurs. You get the revenge spot. They lost 109-114 earlier this year. Cavs laid 3-0, and you get the line somewhat shortened up here, open up at 5.5, 6.5, whatever. Still pretty kind of short if you ask me. Garland had 32 points in that game. This is his first game back in a little while, so it'll be interesting to see how Garland looks. But he did say that he plans to play. We know this team just traded for Karis LeVert as well. Be interesting to see if he comes into play in this game. Could be a huge boost of energy there. Spurs first game on the road, like you said, but road they have the road team in this series is 5-1 against the spread last 6 meetings. So I do lean the Spurs here full game. It could go exactly how Shark mentioned as well with it with the Cavs coming out hot, possibly letting the team backdoor here. So I don't think that the Spurs will lay down. I think they will play this whole game and try to play a full 48 minutes. The Spurs, the only way I can look here full game, I did end up staying off of this one though, my guys. But it is interesting seeing this line not move too much with Garland playing now. It's only moving up to -6. I thought we would maybe see some -7s popping up, guys. So be interested to see what happens here, man. Appreciate everybody in the chat showing love, man. That's Bryce, S.Warrior, my guys. Sure appreciate you, man. But Shark, yeah, so for me, I like the look there. Cavs first quarter, bounce back. For me, full game, I would be looking at Spurs, but it's not some of the officials. Actually not a super strong look, guys. So let's go over here to the streets of Charlotte here, Shark. You got the Hornets in total disarray. Now, there's some things, hey, you may be liking to take them, looking at revenge spots, all of this. Simple. What I've been doing lately is seeing how these guys are playing basketball of late. That's what really matters right now, right? We know this world, today's world. Where have you done for me lately? The Hornets on a slide right now. They're in absolute disarray. I think they're really disconnecting from the coach here. So it's Bulls or nothing for me here. My problem is this team doesn't play enough defense, and they're missing some bodies as well. For the Hornets, they'll have Caleb Martin and Hayward out. Now, for the Bulls, you still got Caruso and Lonzo Ball out. Then you're missing Ayo Dosunmu as well out for concussion. So you get Levine, DeRozan in there. This team isn't playing defense right now. This game should, in theory, fly over the total. Bulls, the only way I can look in this one, Chart.
Yeah, as you mentioned, obviously one game this year between these two was an extremely bloated final, 133-119 Chicago. And that's been a snapshot to the last 4 games. Going back to last year, Chicago has absolutely hammered Charlotte in all formats, home, road, dog, and favorite. The line has not really mattered. This line is 1 point short for Chicago. It should be 3.5. It opened up at 1.5, I believe. And it's telling you a bit of a story here. As Jay said, the Charlotte Hornets have just started to absolutely crater down on an L5. But you ask yourself the question, is that where they should be? Is this a 500 team? Are they getting to their average? This is where the game becomes tough to cap. Obviously, you get this quadruple revenge game off of 4 blowouts, I believe averaging 20 points per loss there. But Chicago comes in on an L2 as well. And for those of you who tailed the Phoenix play on Monday night, we know how Chicago can do you dirty in a game. And I'm afraid that we're just going to see a tight spot here. I would lean Chicago with you. I don't like backing Charlotte here at all. And I do think a 4-0 clip for Chicago is sustainable. But again, when I'm on the wrong side of a team, I need to take a quick step back. Chicago burned me on Sunday against the Sixers. Then they burned me on Monday against the Suns. Sometimes you're just one step behind a team. The back door clearly is wide open. This is a really tough game to cap. I could see this going either way.
Yeah, definitely could go either way, as the line suggests as well, right, guys? So, like I say, the Bulls, they are the more potent offensive team. The Hornets have some potency as well, but neither team is playing defense, man. The Bulls, I really wish that, because I'm a Bulls fan, I wish they would get an actual center out there. They got to get some type of defensive presence in the hole. Vucevic is not that guy, and they don't even have a center coming off the bench as well. So, even when Vucevic leaves, there's no defensive presence. I could see the Hornets getting to the rim all game, and I could also see the Bulls getting with Levine and DeRozan balling out. But another thing I'm watching with those two guys, those guys aren't playing defense at all as well. So that's what's keeping me off the Bulls here. I see a real back and forth game, possibly high scoring. Lean the Bulls, but I did end up staying off of it. And just look at this. This is a huge step down in class as far as defense, what the Bulls were going up against their last couple of games. The 76ers and their Suns, now they're going up against the Hornets. Bulls could possibly put up 130 points here, man. Like I said, a ton of injuries on both sides, but the Hornets, they're not being motivated right now by their coach, and I sense that. And I'm staying far away from this team. They're on the L5. I'm not the one to bet them to say that they're going to get off the schneid today, guys. Lean Bulls and lean the over in that one. Let's go over here to the streets of OKC, the boring streets of OKC. I always say, Shark, you got a revenge spot with the Raptors here, man. They're laying a lot of points. This is inflated. The line's inflated, but like I say, you got a revenge spot. They lost 109-110 earlier this year. Muscala hit a late shot in there when they end up coming back to beat the Raptors at the house. Now they're on the road. They're absolutely red hot, 6-0 against the spread and straight up last 6. Is this too many points? It is, but the Raptors, the only way I can look in this one. I didn't bet the game. Don't feel super confident on it, but Raptors 6-2 against the spread last 8 in OKC, and they do have a game tomorrow. So this is the first game of a back-to-back. They got the Rockets. It's not something I'm trying to sign myself up with, Shark.
Yeah, no, this is going to be tough. I mean, you said it, and it is important. The line is on Toronto. Toronto was laying 7.5 points at home and did lose outright, as you said, 110 to 109. So when you're at 7.5 at home, it should be 4.5 road, not 10. And I think this is kind of a snapshot to what we're seeing in the league. Favorites are 25-3-1 the last 3 days. That is an egregious outlier, but to a certain degree, it's telling us this story. Right around the trade deadline, there just seems to be a massive competitive gap between so many of these teams. It's motivation, and it's just pure on-court quality. Oklahoma City, of course, is not breaking any records for on-court quality this year, but you do see what would be categorized as a letdown spot for Toronto. Toronto's won 6 straight games. They've played 8 straight games against Eastern playoff teams. Now they come off that sustained clip, and they go to Oklahoma City and Houston for 2. It's not necessarily saying they're going to lay down here. They are in a revenge game, and the numbers all over them. But if there was ever a spot for them not to bring their absolute A game, it would be here. Narrative is on OKC. Number is on Toronto, and that's why it's impossible to take a side here.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that my narrative is on the Raptors here. That's the only way that I can look in this. My guy in the chat said Raptors money line. She was the funniest shit ever. But he also says Raptors by 30. Hope you cash. The Raptors the only way I can look in this one. You said it. The motivational gap, right? The Thunder, they're tanking. Let's be real. They're not trying to win games. You could see them by by sitting out SGA for this long period of time. Now Muscala's out. They just let go Diakite. He was at least one center that was trying to bring some energy there. So the way that I look at this game, if the Raptors come in here focused and want to blow them out, they will. It's simple. But do they care enough about this game? So I'm standing off of it. Raptors would only be the way that I could look in this one. I couldn't argue off. If the Raptors do cover this game, it'll be early trifecta spot. They'll come out, smack them up, and try to get the game over with early. So I couldn't argue you guys in the chat that are saying Raptors early. I would lean that way as well, especially with them having the game tomorrow. They could. What are we seeing? We're seeing these teams get up big, and they're letting their bench play the whole game. I'm starting to see this shit, man. So Raptors early. That's how I'll be looking at that one, Sharp. Let's go over here to the streets of Sacramento, man. You talk about a lot of shit going on in the game, man. These last two games, there's a ton of, this one in the Lakers game, it's a ton of stuff going on. Why? The Kings kind of doing a fire sale right now, just like the Blazers, trading away a lot of guys. I did see that Rashawn Holmes is going to play this time around. And in theory, when you have that home and home situation, you want to take the team that just lost the first one. Problem is, the line is all over the Wolves here. They know that it's a motivational gap. The Wolves are balling right now. They're trying to get somewhere. The Kings, not so much. Let's just say that. Problem is, though, Shark, a bunch of questionable tags came out. Anthony Edwards questionable, Nas Reed, Taurean Prince, Beverly again. So what are we expecting this game, my brother?
This is incredibly difficult. And as you said, the two teams on this board today that are just all over the place roster-wise are Portland and Sacramento. And Sacramento is probably even more so because they have actual players coming in who are going to change their roster significantly. Portland, we don't know what Portland's really doing. I saw some ridiculous comments about improving the roster by moving CJ McCollum. I'm like, but what are we talking about here? But I think the Kings may have some sort of plan, obviously acquiring Domantas Sabonis. The guy's a very underrated player in the league. The Timberwolves in these back-to-backs where they play the same team 2 games in a row have been very inconsistent. They split some. Sometimes they get hammered twice. The Clippers got them twice early season. And sometimes they get the opponent twice. If you go back to last year, the Timberwolves actually did play 2 in a row in Sacramento last year as well. They did win the first one with authority, and not coincidentally, they scored 134 points. Look what they did last year. They scored 134 points. And then they came back the next night. Of course, the teams were vastly different, but they did not win the game. They lost the game 128 to 125. And again, I think we talk about this all the time. In the middle of the regular season, it's difficult to beat a team twice in a row, particularly on the road, back-to-back, with no break. And again, too many moving parts here. As you mentioned, the number is all over Minnesota, but this game is just all over the place.
Yeah, I'm with you. The line had opened up. And guys, there's also some speculation. You got to wait to see who's playing this game. There's some speculation saying that maybe Sabonis, these guys might play. We don't know what they're doing with Fox. They tried their best to trade him. Couldn't get anything back for him. That's why you see Halliburton move and they make that package to get Sabonis. I don't agree with it, to be honest with you. Sabonis is a damn good baller. It's not a good fit in Sacramento, man. This guy, good players shouldn't go to Sacramento. It's just that simple unless they make some changes from the top. You got to make some changes from the top. Get a new coach in there. It starts with that, man. I don't bet on bad coach teams. It's Wolves or nothing for me here. I'm staying off this game, especially with all the questionable tags. It's even more. Anthony Edwards hadn't looked himself. He could possibly be injured. I wouldn't be surprised if he sat out this game, guys. So still lean the Wolves, even though it's a revenge spot for the Kings. I know that there are a couple of games back for the play in, all that good stuff. A lot of different new players coming in. It's going to be a mix-up, man. But I must say, I don't really want to lay the points with the Wolves as well, though. So it's a tough game, guys. We wouldn't say this shit if it really wasn't. Let's go over here to the streets of Portland here, Shark. Lakers versus the Blazers. This line was up to 9.5, man. It's the team that the Blazers just trotted out there last night was laughable. They lost to the Magic by 20 points, and you look at the roster, you see why. I called that one correctly, my guys. But what do you like in this one, bro? We saw Westbrook, LeBron questionable. What are we doing in this game?
Again, it's just tough to bet. I mean, you guys watch us every single day outside of, 1 day a week we're off. We don't just run away from games. When we're not on a game, trust me, it's just really, really difficult. And these aren't even just really difficult to cap normally. I mean, as you said, these players in and out, we just don't know what's going on. And you get the Lakers here off a 3rd and 4 back-to-back, home road off a loss last night to Milwaukee. It's just a tough travel spot. The line is all over the Lakers. The Lakers, of course, did just cover in crypto.com 99-94 on a short number. We had suggested that day that Portland would cover unofficially. They did not, but they didn't because they got 2 free throws at the 0.0 second mark of the fourth quarter to backdoor for Lakers bettors there. I think that's a snapshot to how tight this could be. I'm not sure the Lakers are going to be able to give 4 big quarters here with fatigue traveling to the Northwest. It's going to be tough. You get a double revenge game. Portland did hammer them early season, 105-90 with a completely different roster on a Portland -5. If you're really tracking the line is on the Lakers. I do feel this is going to be very tight, however, at the 7.5, 8, 9 figure.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's a good point by Kavian in the chat. Lakers take out some frustration. When I'll tell you this, the Lakers, they're not necessarily a good team, right? When they go up against the top tier teams, it's really this simple. They'll get smashed. They're not the level. LeBron said it himself last night. He knows it. He said they could have told you that before the game. That lets you know that he doesn't have a ton of confidence in his team. But when they go up against these weaker teams, that's when they can put their foot on the gas and really smack teams. So that's why it's Lakers are none for me here. That was before we saw Westbrook, which it may be good if Westbrook sits out, but Westbrook, LeBron, all these guys, questionable, man, this is a tough game. It was already tough before that. It's similar. So Anthony Davis, game time decision, which he's more likely probable to play, but Carmelo Anthony is out. Westbrook, game time decision. LeBron and Dwight Howard. It's Lakers or nothing, guys. But if you're going to bet this game, wait to see who's all playing first. They're even saying that Josh Hart and maybe those few guys for the Blazers could possibly playing this game, which I don't see how that's possible, but they're not on the injury report. So who knows, man, what's going on with this game. This is not something I want to put my money on, man. We're on some professional type shit. We put our money down on something we really like the spot. We're not just throwing flyers out there, man. Let's go over here to the streets of Utah, guys. We got the Warriors versus the Jazz. I must say, man, if I had a top player today, it would probably be the Warriors here, man. It's the only way I could look. And we talk about all these favorites covering, which, like I always say, they didn't have anything to do with today's games, but it still draws me to want to look at some dogs here. I'll lean the Warriors. They've cleaned up. Now, look at this, Shark. We talk about getting to averages. The Jazz had beat them 5 straight times. Then now you see the Warriors beating them 4 straight times, trying to get back to that average. And the couple of times that the Warriors beating them this year, Shark, they had Rudy Gobert. What did he do? First game, he went to for 20 points and 19 rebounds, 7 offensive rebounds. The next game, he went for 12 points and 18 rebounds, another 7 offensive rebounds. So going small ball against the Warriors, I don't know if it's going to work here, Shark. I think if the Warriors clean them up with Rudy Gobert, their best defensive player, I think they can get it done without him as well, with easier points into the paint here. What you think about this one?
I think this is just an incredibly sharp line. You know, I look back, I even go back one game, obviously totally different players, but we talk about this, and I always need to re-clarify this because people come into the chat, they haven't heard me speak about this for months. When I'm looking at the numbers of Vegas is taking into account who's playing for the team and giving you an average. And then if the average is right, it means that Vegas numbers are adjusting within the roster movement to a specific average that is just right on the number. And you saw the last one. Dubs were -2. They finished the game 94-92. Dead push. So this moves towards Utah. Utah, as you mentioned, has lost 4 in a row. We've had a few of those correctly. Utah did lay down early season at home, I believe 123-116 Dubs on a +5. That was Dubs' fourth quarter there. Utah laid the hammer down in the third quarter, 41-22, and the Dubs reversed it right back in the fourth quarter, 37-25. At some point, you really do think that Utah should win one. Tonight, why wouldn't they? I mean, I'm a little bit confused by them moving Joe Ingles. Of course, he was injured for the year. I don't like that trade, though. I really liked how he fed the wing coming off of Donovan Mitchell, dribble drive and whatnot. But this is going to be a tough game for me to cap. 10 o'clock Eastern, national game. Watch the game, crack a beer, enjoy your life. This is going to be really tough to cap.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying my life, period, man. I hadn't made a single bet on today's NBA card. I must say, though, if I had a top play, it would be the Warriors here. I mean, I don't think that it's all public money. In all honesty, I see some sharps coming in on here on the Warriors here. And like I say, strictly from a matchup perspective, now Looney is questionable here, but this is a game, like I say here, with no Gobert and Donovan Mitchell and the guys. What do the Warriors do? They have wings. They have wing defenders to go up against the Jazz. The Jazz always had that was their upper hand. Having Gobert out there, having that defensive presence at the rim and making the Warriors be 3-point shooting teams. This is not the case. Now they can go into the paint, get whatever they want. You got Azubuike starting at center, man. Hassan Whiteside coming off the bench. I don't trust it. The Jazz, they're starting to catch some heat. That's why they're favored here. They've had 4 straight home games. Well, this is their 4th straight home game. So they have a chance to get into a groove, starting to play a lot better. You take a look at those wins, though. They caught the Nuggets, the last game of a 6-game road trip, no Jokic. They caught the Nets. We know know that they're an absolute fade right now. Then they let the Knicks hang with them to the last minute. These aren't necessarily resume building wins, if you ask me. I look at them as catching these teams in the right moment. Warriors, the only way that I could look in this one, I might sprinkle on this one, guys. I hadn't bet anything. If I had a top play today, it would be on the Warriors here as a dog as well. They're on this team has won 8 straight games, man. These motherfuckers low-key balling right now. So, and let me just tell you this real quick. Offensive rating, last 5 games, Warriors 5th, the Jazz 13th. Defensive rating, Warriors 13th, Jazz 16th. Rebound percentage, Warriors 4th in the league, Jazz 17th. So it's Warriors or nothing for this better. It's the only way I could look in this game. If I had one play today, it would be the Warriors here, Shark. Break them off to your officials before we get out of here.
Yeah, one official play, 7 p.m. Eastern, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, Cleveland, Ohio. Home locker room, first quarter, Cleveland -2. Talked about it before. When you come out off a road game, first quarter at home, and you get absolutely hammered by Indiana, 27-12, the second game is your bounce back. In the first quarter specifically, your starters look at each other and say, guys, we can't replicate that again. We got to come out with some juice. The last time they did this against the Knicks home game, too, they covered it. Top play by a mile. Cleveland, first quarter, -2. J Money, a pleasure. Winning Wednesday is engaged. Close them out.
I like it, my guy. I'll probably end up riding with you on that. We know that the Cavs first quarter is the gift that keeps giving, guys. Always go check out wagertalk.com, man. I'm staring at the Wager Talk live odds screen right now, just checking, comparing lines as well. Also use promo code J1 as well if you'd like to get some plays over there for $1, guys. Any handicapper, use promo code J1. For me today, no top play in college basketball. I am looking at Georgia, SIU, Southern Illinois, and Louisville versus Notre Dame, guys. So follow me on Twitter at JMoneyIsMoney or at NBA Talk with J1. I will tweet out the official. I got to get something today, but I do think this is a day where I'm looking at college a little bit stronger here, guys. So I will be hopping on one of those dogs. I'll likely be riding with my guy Shark as well. Cavs in the first quarter. For me, if I had a top lean in the NBA, it would be Warriors plus a 2. And that's it, man. I lean the Warriors, lean Raptors early, and the Bulls as well, guys. So the Lakers and Wolves games, wait to see who's playing with those, man. Don't force your money. It's better days out there. You dig what I'm saying? Let's get some cash. Start out liking them college basketball plays as well. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we out, my guys. Follow us on Twitter.